Tom walked into the meeting room feeling ready. He had the best ideas in that room. He had done the research. He had practiced his pitch 100 times. He knew the numbers better than anyone. But the moment he sat down, something happened. The investor looked at him. Just one look. A slow, quiet scan from top to bottom. And in that single second, before Tom said a single word, the deal was already dead. Not because of his idea, not because of his numbers, because of his shirt. That sounds brutal, but it is the truth nobody tells you. And today, Tom is going to break down exactly why cheap clothes are silently draining your bank account. Not just your confidence, your actual money. Real dollars, real opportunities, real wealth that you are leaving on the table every single day. This is not about vanity, this is mathematics. Let's get into it. Most people think saving money on clothes is smart. Buy the cheaper option. Keep more cash in your pocket. Simple logic, right? That is exactly what Tom used to think. $20 shirt, job done, money saved. But here is what Tom did not understand. That $20 shirt was not saving him money. It was costing him everything. Because every time Tom wore that shirt into a room full of serious people, he was sending a signal. A quiet, invisible signal that said something he never intended to say. It said, "I don't pay attention to detail." It said, "I don't take this seriously." It said, "I don't belong here." And here is the brutal part. Nobody in that room said anything to Tom about his shirt. Nobody pointed at it, nobody laughed. They just made a decision. A quiet, instant, deeply human decision. And that decision happened in less than 7 seconds. Scientists have studied this. Human beings form their first impression of another person in 7 seconds or less. 7 seconds. And 60% of that impression, 60%, comes entirely from how you look before you speak. Your idea hasn't been heard yet. Your personality hasn't come through yet. Your intelligence is completely invisible. All they see is your presentation. And your presentation is making a promise to them. Either a promise that says, "I am someone worth trusting with big money," or a promise that says, "I am not quite there yet." Now let's talk about what wealthy people actually understand about clothes that most people completely miss. Rich people don't buy expensive clothes to show off. That's a middle-class idea of what rich people do. Real wealth, quiet wealth, buys premium clothes for one single reason. Because they understand that your presentation is a business asset, not a luxury, not a reward, a tool. A calculated, strategic, leveraged tool that generates a return on investment. Think about that word, investment. When you invest in something, you expect it to pay you back more than you put in. A premium outfit that costs $300 and closes a $10,000 contract just gave you a 3,300% return on day one. A $20 shirt that makes you look sloppy and loses you that same contract didn't save you $280. It cost you $10,000, plus the $20 you spent on the shirt. So the real cost of cheap is $10,000 and $20. The math is not even close. This is what Tom calls the cheap clothes trap. And it goes deeper than just money. It goes into your brain, into your psychology, into how you see yourself every single morning. There is actual science behind this. Researchers at Northwestern University ran a study on something called enclothed cognition. That's a fancy term for a simple idea. What you wear changes how your brain works. When you put on clothes that you associate with confidence, authority, and success, your brain actually performs differently. Your thinking sharpens, your risk tolerance increases, your communication becomes more assertive. You literally become a different version of yourself based on what you are wearing. On the flip side, when you put on cheap, ill-fitting, low-quality clothes, your brain picks up that signal too. It tells you, quietly, that you are not operating at the highest level, and you start acting accordingly. Smaller asks, less confident pitches, apologetic energy, timid decisions. Cheap clothes don't just affect how others see you, they affect how you see yourself. And how you see yourself determines every single move you make in business. Now let's talk about the concept called quiet luxury. Because this is what the truly wealthy figured out a long time ago. Quiet luxury is not about logos. It is not about wearing a brand name on your chest so everyone can see how much you spent. That is actually what insecure money looks like. Quiet luxury is about quality you can feel. fabric that drapes correctly, a fit that is flawless, colors that are clean and intentional. It is the kind of clothing that makes a person in the room think, something about this person is different, without being able to say exactly what it is. That feeling is power. That feeling is trust being built without a single word. High net worth individuals are exceptionally good at reading this. They have been in rooms full of people their entire lives. They can spot quality from across a table. They can sense when something is off, when a collar sits wrong, when a fabric looks cheap under office lighting, when a shoe has seen better days. These are micro signals, tiny details, but to the people with real money, these micro signals tell a complete story about who you are and how you operate. Think about it from their perspective. If you cannot manage your own presentation, why would they trust you to manage their investment? If you do not pay attention to how you show up, why would they believe you pay attention to the details that matter in business? Your clothes are your first business card, and unlike a business card, you cannot hand someone a better one after a bad first impression. The impression is already made. It is already locked in. And changing it requires so much more effort than simply starting right. Here is where the scarcity mindset comes in. And this is the part most people find uncomfortable to hear. Buying cheap clothes repeatedly is often a symptom of scarcity thinking, not just a financial decision. A mindset that says, I am not worth spending real money on. A mindset that says, I need to protect every dollar because there will not be enough. And that same mindset bleeds directly into your business decisions. People with a scarcity mindset undercharge for their services. They are afraid to ask for big contracts. They apologize for their pricing. They shrink in rooms where they should be standing tall. And the scary thing is this: the way you treat your own presentation is almost always the way you treat your business. If you cut corners on yourself, you will cut corners on your clients too, whether you mean to or not. The world picks up on that energy. It always does. Now let's flip this completely. Imagine Tom walks into that same investor meeting. Same idea, same numbers, same research, but this time Tom spent $300 on a well-fitted, clean, premium outfit. Nothing flashy, no big logos, just perfect fit, quality fabric, and quiet confidence. He sits down. The investor looks at him, same scan, top to bottom, but this time the signal is completely different. This time, the signal says, I am someone who takes things seriously. I pay attention to detail. I respect your time, and I respect this meeting enough to show up correctly. Before Tom says one word, trust is already building in that room. And when trust builds before you speak, your words land completely differently. Your pitch has weight behind it. Your numbers feel believable. Your confidence feels earned. And the investor leans forward instead of leaning back. That lean forward is worth $10,000 minimum. This is what Tom calls identity, ROI. When you invest in your visual identity, you are not just buying clothes. You are buying the version of yourself that operates at a higher level. You are buying access to rooms where the real money moves. You are buying the psychological baseline that makes bold decisions feel natural. You are buying a daily reminder that you are serious about where you are going. And every single day you put on that premium outfit, your brain receives that reminder and performs accordingly. So what is the actual action plan here? First, stop thinking of your wardrobe as an expense. Start treating it as a business investment with a measurable return. Second, you do not need to spend a fortune overnight. Start with 3 or 4 high-quality foundational pieces. A perfectly fitted dark trouser, a clean premium shirt or top, a quality pair of shoes that are immaculate and simple. These basics, worn with intention, will outperform a wardrobe full of cheap options every single time. Third, focus obsessively on fit above everything else. A moderately priced piece that fits perfectly will always beat an expensive piece that fits badly. Fit is the single biggest signal of attention to detail. Get your clothes tailored if you need to. The cost of tailoring is nothing compared to the cost of looking wrong in the room. And fourth, and this is the most important one, understand that this is not about impressing strangers. This is about building a daily system that keeps your identity aligned with your ambitions. Because the version of you that closes big deals, pitches confidently, and commands premium prices needs to feel like the real you every single day. Not just on special occasions, not just when you have an important meeting, every single day. because you never know which Tuesday morning is going to be the Tuesday that changes everything. The cheap shirt didn't save Tom money. It taxed him silently every single day. It taxed his confidence, his presence, his opportunities, and ultimately, his bank account. The moment Tom understood that his presentation was a business system and not a vanity purchase, everything changed. He stopped buying cheap. He started investing in himself. And the rooms he walked into started feeling very different. Because he walked in differently. And when you walk in differently, the world responds differently. That is not a theory. That is a pattern every single wealthy person already knows. Tom out. Next video, why the rich never say they are rich. Don't miss it.